Alright, so we are stuck, and the cabin is way over there, and I'm getting wet. It's up to my knees. For some reason we got no traction, and this light is flickering. Right, -8 Celsius, -9 Celsius, whatever that is. Alright, so since I got 2 feet of snow on the solar panels, they haven't been working, and my battery system is down, so we gotta heat the batteries up before we can charge them. So in the meantime, we're kind of limited to what we can do, so let's get the wood stove started. I just got this thing started. Took me a little while. I gotta plow out the driveway so I can get the truck up here. So I got this Arctic Cat ZR600 and a Skidoo MXZ 600, and I got them as a package deal with the trailer. I paid 1,800 bucks. I think that's a decent deal. Not the best, but not the worst. This one is fuel injected, and it seems to start a lot easier than that one. That one might need a little work to get it started, I don't know, but once it's going, it's good for the day. So I've never really owned snowmobiles. I do have a couple at my house, but I never even tried to start them. We just don't get enough snow back there, so I just lost interest in them. I literally never even tried to pull the pull cord on them, and they probably need so much work that it's probably not even worth doing. But I figured part of the reason why I wanted to get this cabin built up here so quickly, and there was such a push on getting it done, is to be able to come up here in the wintertime and to be able to go sledding. Because up here, this is like a way of life. Everybody up here has a sled. There is trails up here that go for hundreds and hundreds of miles. You can go anywheres on these trails. There's places that are 15, 20 miles from here that you can pull right up to a gas station. You can pull up to a deli. You can pull up to a hotel. There's all kinds of places that you can go. And the trails are just endless up here. You could ride these trails for the whole wintertime and never hit the same one if you wanted to go far enough. So this is in Fulton County, and I'm kind of next to Dolgeville. And yeah, so if you guys know that area, you know that just endless possibilities. And there's Tug Hill too, which I might try to get over to before the end of the winter. But anyways, this sled right here is really fast. I had no idea how fast this sled was. That one's actually pretty fast too. I guess I'm just not used to sleds, how fast they are. I really never had a snowmobile, so I've ridden on the back of a few of them when I was a kid, and that's about it. I really never got into them because there's just not enough snow where we are. It does snow once in a while enough to do it, but it's not enough to like keep a snowmobile and keep it registered, and I even have these insured and everything else. It's not worth doing that back in my area because the only place you can ride is on your property, or you'd have to bring it somewhere to ride. And riding these on my property, there's just not enough space on there. You need like 100 acres to ride, and it needs to be nice straight trails, otherwise it's just no fun. Well, I have 32 acres here, and it's nowhere near enough. Even if we had some trails, you really got to work the trails. Like, you got to widen them out, you got to flatten them out. It takes a lot of work. But up here, the trails are already done. They're already groomed. There's clubs up here. There's actually one right down the road, and they're a big one, and they just maintain the trails all the time. So I'm thankful that they do that, because we're gonna have a lot of fun riding these trails. I've been on the trails around here when I was a kid. Me and my brother and my mom used to go cross-country skiing on a couple of them, and I did go on a snowmobile one time with my uncle, but we didn't go very far, and that was when I was a teenager, so that was a long time ago. So this sled, if you punch the throttle, this thing will stand right up, no problem. It does a wheelie like a motorcycle. It's actually crazy scary. I come from riding crotch rockets. I can do a wheelie at 60 miles an hour on a crotch rocket for 2 miles, but these are actually a little bit more scary than that. These are kind of scary. You punch that throttle and it is just out. Even that one is really fast. This one is studded, so it gets a lot more traction. So if you press the throttle on this one, it just throws you back. That one, if you punch the throttle, it kind of spins out a little bit. The tracks are good though. It's not like the tracks are bad. It's just, it has more power than it has traction. And I think also on the road, there's a little bit of ice too. So we're gonna take it easy on these, especially with the kids. We're not gonna go fast. These aren't really meant to ride 2 up on, but we're gonna do it anyways with the kids just because they're smaller. You wouldn't really want to ride 2 adults on these, I don't think anyways. I don't know, maybe people do, but we're gonna hit the trails with these. It's really windy today and it's really cold. It's like lower teens and it's like 30-mile-an-hour wind. So we might just go around just for one loop today, but tomorrow it's supposed to get up to the mid-20s and the wind is supposed to die down to 5 miles an hour or so. And then for the next few days after that, it's also supposed to be exactly like that. So I think we're gonna hit the trails just for a minute today, just to kind of test things out, and then we'll gear up for tomorrow. And what's nice about up here is that there's gas stations right on the trails, so you can stop for gas. And I finally got the solar panels cleaned off, so Hopefully the sun will melt them. No, you ready for a ride?
What?
You ready for a ride? You comfortable?
No. No, my nose itches.
Your nose itches?
Yes. What did Daddy do? Oh, that's really low.
Hey Bob, how's your hands? Are they warm? Do you remember when we went here? We went swimming? Noah! You remember going swimming and fishing here in the summer?
Yeah.
Yeah? You look so cute with that helmet. The helmet's like half the size of your body. Are you cold at all?
No.
No? What? So in the upstairs here, I'm going to do a little work. I want to insulate these ceilings just a little bit better. Right now there's probably 2 inches. I want to add like at least another inch. So I'm using this Kraken spray foam, and this stuff has worked really well. I got the walls all done like I want, but I just want to put a little bit more in the ceiling. I have 17 cans left, so I'm just going to use them all up. Since we're kind of staying up here, we had to scatter everything so that I can spray without getting stuff all over the place. Put a tarp down. Crack a window. I'm just going to use like 2 cans at a time, and then I'll let it air out and do another 2 cans. That way I don't have to wear a mask and all that stuff. So it's really annoying. Alright, so we got the sun out today. We're gonna go riding again. It's not much for wind and it's warmer, so should be a lot better of a ride. So yesterday we broke down with this sled. Basically what happened is the brakes locked up, so I had to go back with my sled, grab some tools and come back and kind of dismantle the brakes, and then I drove it home. So what ended up happening is inside this reservoir there's a bunch of like dirt and grime and stuff, and I think it clogged up the return port, so we gotta flush this brake system out. So basically I'm just gonna keep bleeding the brakes out until all the fluid is flushed out. So there's not much for fluid in there, plus it's all nasty and grimy. Got this one-man bleeder here. These are really nice. If anybody's watching and they don't have one of these, go get them. They're like $10 and you can bleed the brakes by yourself, plus you can flush them. You can even save the fluid if you want. I'm not gonna in this case because it's dirty. Yeah, there's a lot of junk going through there. I don't know if you guys can even see that, but there's like tons of pieces of dirt. And I flushed it out once and there's still all kinds of stuff in there. I'm just going to keep bringing it through.
There. Like a bunch of rocks.
Okay, so I was able to get all the bad fluid pumped out and that's what I was left with, all nice and clear fluid. So all the fluid is drained out, flushed, and new fluid in there. Hopefully we flushed out all the pieces of rust or grit or whatever they were that would block the return port. Seems to be working good, but I'm going to bring some tools with me this time. If I just had a few tools with me last time, even just a pair of vice grips, I could have saved a lot of time. So we're going to bring a whole kit this time.
Alright, so which way are we going again? Taking a right? Back up, Noah.
I'm just gonna slide down.
Yeah, that worked very well. What do you want? Hey.
I want cheese.
Hey.
You don't
Give me a
have
piece of toilet paper so I can wipe my nose, please.
Can you make me a Caden-sized one? That's a dad-sized one. Slap it in the pan. No. First title, I'm going down. Then we should be. Wait, hold on. Well, at least I'm on it. That butt's on it. Cool. That would look weird there, wouldn't it?
No.
No, I'm saying about like putting a medium next to a medium.
Oh, you ain't gonna be able to pull that. You wanna try? Go ahead. So I have to run the generator again because the solar panels were covered up with snow up until today. So I actually lost power like 2 days ago because the battery couldn't keep up because there was nothing charging it. And finally today it warmed up enough to melt the panels. We got a little bit of sun. But in the meantime I used up 15 kilowatt hours of energy just to keep that little shed heated and the internet on. So this is the second time I've had to do this, and I've had to use my backup system, which is a 12-volt system, which I have around 7 kilowatt hours of 12-volt battery backup. So luckily I have that. I could just run off the generator, but the battery's so much better. So we put down this floor last time. I'm hoping to finish up this and then do the downstairs. I know it's kind of backwards to do that before we get the wood on the walls and on the ceiling and all the other things, but that's what I was requested to do, so that's what I did. So nice to come up here during the day. Seems like every time we've come up here in the last half a dozen times it's been night. Just really nice to be able to see what you're doing when you come in. A little bit warmer too. I think it's like in the upper teens right now. I guess it's -7 Celsius. I don't know what that is, but it's time to crank up this diesel heater just to get it warmed up in here. Then we don't need it anymore.
Inside.
Is that a Zoe burrito?
That's a Zoe burrito. I'm trying to make sure the dragon's made it in.
Zoe, wanna go outside? Everything's frozen. That's the way it is every time. Look at this. Totally frozen. I gotta thaw out one of the pipes because it froze. And I don't feel like using drinking water, so. Pearl used to do that. She's too old now, though. Pearl's 15 and Ralph is 10. Ralph is Pearl's son. So we're just gonna kind of hang out tonight. I'm not gonna really do any kind of work because I need to finish editing a video, and tomorrow we'll start doing some work and having some fun. And that couch works out pretty good because it doubles as another 2 or 3 chairs for that table. That table gets tucked into that corner when it's not being used. And yeah, everything's been working out really well. For a 12 by 16, I couldn't ask for much more. We got like helmets up there. I can't wait to get this inspected so that we can start doing the wood on the walls and the ceiling. Then that way we can really wrap it up. But I'm thinking probably not going to do that until the spring. I mean, the framing is done, but it's just, I don't really want to bother with that right now. So I just got done putting in that set of temporary stairs right there. I can't set the real stairs because I need to pour some concrete. What I was actually thinking is doing a wraparound set of stairs around the whole thing, because it's only 2 steps. So I'll have 1, 2, and then just around the whole thing. That way it's just safer for the kids and it's kind of aesthetically pleasing. But I am also putting an addition right here. So I guess that side would be kind of pointless to put in there. So anyways, having a small building like this, there's a few problems that you have. There's a few problems that you run into. Number one is ventilation, because it's such a small building that you end up breathing a lot of stale air. So I'm gonna put a ERV in here, or an HRV. I have one at home. I just need to bring it up and install it. But also, the other problem is makeup air for things like the wood stove need to be accounted for. So I bought a fresh air intake for the wood stove. So the wood stove company is the United States Stove Company, and they actually provide you with one that works exactly for this. There's a 4-inch port on the back of the stove for the intake. So we're going to install this right behind the stove. I built this really tight and I air sealed everything up, so there's really not much air coming in, but the few places that there is air coming in, it's coming in really fast. And really that's like on the corners of the windows and like just a few cracks in the floor. That's about it. But the problem is, if you're running the wood stove and you open the door, it makes a puff of smoke come out of the wood stove. Also, if you're trying to use the propane water heater, it's trying to pull air into that, and it's trying to pull air into the stove, and there's just not enough air to make up for it. So the easy solution is to put a fresh air intake on the stove. The propane water heater, we'll deal with that for now. And then also I want a bathroom vent, so there will need to be a little bit more makeup air, but I think the HRV will help me with that. So I didn't realize that this is actually like a pretty thick steel right here. It's like almost a 1/16 of an inch thick, which I was going to cut with some snips, but that's not going to happen. So I got to find a creative way to cut this. Okay, so on the back of the stove, I had already put this pipe here with a damper, because when this gets really hot, it's kind of uncontrollable. I don't know, it's kind of a design flaw. You push this all the way in and it's still really hot. So I put a damper on the intake to be able to solve that, and it does actually work really well. So since there's a stud right there, I kind of have to offset this other pipe coming out. All right, so it's not dark enough to show you guys that one, but I got these recessed lights installed. They work very well. I installed them last night, but I didn't get a chance to film it. So we're gonna be leaving in a few minutes. Just got back from a snowmobile ride. But I also just added these panels here just because I really want a little bit of extra energy while we're gone. And I want these vertical so that when the snow hits, these aren't affected too much. So if all 6 of those are covered up, these ones will still produce a little bit, enough to keep my internet going at least. So also I added another 5 kilowatt hours to the battery bank, so that should help too. So with that and the 5 kilowatt hours, that should get me through a bunch of cold weather and a bunch of snowing. If we didn't have really cold weather where I needed to use the heater in there, and we didn't have snow where it would cover up the solar panels, then we would have been fine without any of this stuff. So those are bifacial, they're 400 watts a piece. Those are the same ones I have at home. I had some extras, so I brought them up. So eventually we're gonna get another 5 to 7 panels on that roof, depending on what panels I use on that porch roof. And then one of the first things I want to do in the spring is build a concrete enclosure over here, kind of like a root cellar, to put everything in, and on the top of it, it's going to be concrete. So I'm actually going to put a tracker or 2, maybe even, if I can. And then that way, that will house all the power. It will be underground, so it won't need much heat at all. And it'll be much bigger than the other shed. And it'll be fireproof, so if something happens, nothing else burns around here, because it'll be all concrete. So I got to dig this hillside a lot. I got to find some place to put the dirt. Got to clear all these trees and stuff. And that will be a fun project. I can't wait for that, because that will really help out a lot. And I'm going to make it big enough so if we have a guest here helping, they can sleep in there. That will be also ideal, so that we can have more help to get things done quicker. Because then we can work on putting the addition on here, we can work on clearing the road and clearing the site for the new cabin over there, the main cabin, and so on and so forth. And eventually we can get to that cabin there. But anyways, we're gonna be heading home right now. And on these sleds, they're really wandering around a lot. So I just discovered that I need new ball joints on them. And I don't know if they're really ball joints, but I'll show you when I get back and put them in the garage. I'll show you a close-up of what's happening. But basically both machines need some work, so we're gonna bring them back, do some work, and come up one more time, and that will conclude the video after that. And I'm also gonna get some new camera gear, so should have some better shots coming up here. So this thing is wandering around a lot, and you can see it doesn't seem like it's that bad, but it's bad enough. Look, that little bit of play is like an inch on the end. And then you times that by 2 because both of them do it. So I got new tie rods, let's put those on. That looks right. Looks a little beefier too. That's good. They don't give you hardware though, so I got to reuse the nuts. we're gonna align this thing afterwards, so I guess we'll get it close. So that other sled, I got everything aligned by putting a straight edge on the track, continuing it out to the front here, measuring off of one side, towing it out 1/8 of an inch, and then measuring the other ski on the other side to this side, and making sure that I have a 1/4 inch out, so that altogether there's 1/8 on both sides. I took it for a test drive and it seems to be 1,000 times better, but I don't really know until I hit the trails. The problem with the trails is when you have ruts from the skis from other people, you tend to fall in them and it kind of makes you go all over the place. So I guess we won't really see until I go out on the trails again. But this one has the same exact problem and the same exact spot with the tie rods. And looking at it from right here, it looks like we're towed in a little bit, so that probably doesn't help either. But believe it or not, this one was actually not as bad as the other one, so this one I should be able to correct quite a bit, especially if it is towed in. It really looks like it, so I guess I'll check. Same thing, inner tie rods, if it has them, seem to be good. Okay, so when I went to align this, I realized that it was out probably 1.5 to 2 inches. It was towed in. This side was really towed in. This side wasn't so bad. This one, I had to bring this tie rod in all the way till there was absolutely no threads left, and that got it right where I need to be, but there wasn't even another 1/16 to move it. It's totally maxed out. So on the other side, when I went to do that, I had too much tie rod in here and I could not pull that in to tow it out. So I actually ended up having to take my bandsaw and take off like 1/8 of an inch. Actually, probably more like 3/16. But now I'm right where I need to be, and I still have some adjustment left. But yeah, that was actually a lot worse than I thought it would be. So this machine should ride a lot better now. All right, so we just came up for the 3rd time, and for some reason it didn't seem like that much snow, but I can't get in the driveway. I got stuck here. I barely got out. So I'm gonna take one of the sleds off and run up to the cabin and grab the skid steer, I guess. There's 2 feet of snow here and my boots are up in the cabin. Okay, so I'm just getting a click out of that machine. Kind of in the middle of the road out there. Nobody can get by. You can't get in the driveway. Can't get the skid steer started. Kind of in a dilemma. Might have to manually shovel a spot just to get the truck off the road, I guess. I don't know. Have to bring everything up by sled.
No, I push on the back.
No, but just to get it started. You can try it. I don't know.
You ready?
Yeah. not gonna happen. Way deeper than you think.
Yeah, I know.
We're gonna have everything we can do to get these things out of here. Luckily, there's two of us, but luckily we're towards the end of the ride because we're gonna be wet.
What?
Luckily, we're towards the end of the ride because we're gonna be wet. I gotta grab a mini shovel and bring it with us one of these times.
Ow.
You think?
If I was by myself, I'd be totally screwed right now. I think. I don't know. We'll see.
Which way are we going? That's what I need to know. Are we going backwards or this way?
We're just going straight back. So we get the track out of here and then we'll switch it to that way.
What about me?
You stay. Dang.
Oh, that's easier than I thought.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
What the heck didn't you get one with reverse?
Okay, hang on. The glasses are fogging up. Which side? That should be good.
That ain't good. What are you gonna do?
That's right.
You ain't going straight. That ain't gonna happen. There's 3 feet of snow. Gotta go more. Don't worry about that. You're just gonna get stuck again.
I'm not pulling the front. Just pull it this way.
No, just keep pulling it back. You'll be fine.
I do it my way.
The back's lighter than the front.
What?
The back is lighter than the front.
I'm able to make it.
Yeah, mine's deeper than yours is though.
Hang on. Stop. Stop. Stop.
I want to pull up the switch.
What?
Now is when we could use that strap that you didn't remind me to bring.
What?
Now is when we could use that strap that you didn't remind me to bring.
I didn't know I was supposed to.
Oh.
Oh, yours is way, way deeper.
Yeah.
Just see if you can try to go straight. Your foot is sliding into my foot. Oh.
Why didn't you do that at the start?
You shake it. Hey, wait.
We are definitely getting new sleds next year with reverse. This is for the birds.
I think you should keep this one though.
I'm gonna keep both of them for other people.
This way. Ow, that's my phone.
I wonder if people come by, like, what you're thinking. Like, with the giant hole right there.
No, I'll hop on. Okay, let's go.
We know.
Alright guys, well, we made 3 trips up here in this video, and we are about to leave, and we might get 1 or 2 more in before the end of the winter, because right now it's not even the middle of February, and I'm sure we got snow up until probably April. So we probably got a couple more trips of snowmobiling and getting a little work done. So just to give you an update on the solar situation, putting these 2 panels in made a massive difference. That really saved the day, honestly. Every time I come up, I clear a foot or 2 of snow off the roof so that when I leave, it's pretty much clear. Although it just snowed in the last hour, so it covered them back up. But usually I try to leave those panels clear when I leave. And usually the next day they get snowed on. It snows every day here. And if it's warm enough and if there's enough sun out, it will melt the snow. But it's not the case most of the time. Most of the time, you either got a little bit of sun, but it's not very warm, or it's a little bit warm, but no sun, and those solar panels are pretty much covered until the next time I come up. So the last 2 times that I came up, I had no battery left, and that shed got below freezing, so I couldn't even charge the batteries without heating everything first, which usually takes like 3 to 4 hours of 70-degree temperatures in there. I use like a propane heater to get it up to temperature, and then eventually I'm able to charge. But I was able to use my 12-volt backup system in the meantime to power the whole house. And that's only 2,000 watts, but that's more than enough, because when we come up, really all we need to do is just run lights and charge some things and stuff like that. So usually by that night we have everything dialed in, the generators powering back up the batteries, and then by the next day we're good to go. But it is really annoying to have to do that. So this time when we came up, because last time before I left I put those 2 solar panels up, I was able to maintain temperature in there, and I had like 40% battery left when I came back. And most of that was because these panels are producing every day no matter what happens. It snowed like 2 feet since we came up here last, and those panels didn't care at all. I'm gonna take a guess that since the beginning of the winter, we've got about 10 feet of snow up here. No joke. Literally, I don't even know where all the snow went, but I've been keeping track of things, and we're somewhere around 10 feet right now. I've been up here just on the weekends when we got 2 to 3 feet at a time. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're actually more like 12 feet of snow total right now. So yeah, there's only like 3 feet on the ground right now. Some places there's a little bit more, but I don't know where it all goes. Maybe it gets packed in, or maybe it melts from the bottom. But I can tell you one thing, it's kind of weird, because I took the bucket on the skid steer and dug up a couple places, and there was no frost on the ground whatsoever underneath that snow. So that's kind of weird. I almost think that the reason why there isn't so much snow on the ground right now is because it's literally melting from the bottom and making the snow fall down. Because we should have like 2 feet of frost up here right now, but there is none. Not underneath any ground that has had snow and hasn't been disturbed. Now, in the case of this driveway, because I've been plowing it, there's only a little bit of snow, so the frost sets down in there and there's frost underneath it here. But there's some places that are untouched back there, which I plowed with the bucket of the skid steer, and there was absolutely no frost on the ground. It was like it never even happened. So I've never seen that before. That's kind of crazy. I guess we just got so much snow before we got frigid temperatures that it just insulated the ground. It kind of makes sense, but I've never seen it before. So this time we're actually going to leave the sleds up here. I've been bringing them home because I had to work on them, but these things are dialed in pretty good right now. The tie rods on both of these made such a massive difference. The handling is so much better now. You can feel it's just really tight going around corners. It doesn't squirrel on you. There's a name for that. I'm forgetting what it is right now, but it's when you keep going like this as you're going forward. But these aren't doing that at all now, so they're pretty much dialed in. I don't know if you guys remember this. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I've never been snowmobiling before, other than when I was a kid on the back of other people's snowmobiles. I've never had my own snowmobiles and never really had a place to ride them either. So this was really fun. Everybody enjoyed it. I think though, one thing that I really, really want is reverse. So I think these two sleds are going to become sleds for guests. Like it would be nice to bring friends and family up here and all go snowmobiling, and then they can use these two. And then next year, I'm definitely going to get 2 that have reverse. So that way we'll have 4 altogether. What I really got to do here next year is build a garage, something to keep all these in, or maybe even just a shipping container, I guess. I don't know. But one thing is, I'm definitely going to do some land clearing out that way to the new cabin that we're going to build. That's going to be quite a bit bigger than this tiny cabin. This cabin over here will become a guest cabin. And I'm probably also going to put an addition onto this one. I'm hoping to do that next year. It's not that big of a deal to do it. It's not that much work. I'll just do it and get it done, and then also concentrate on building a road way back there, clearing a big giant site. But also, before I even get started on anything back there, I'm probably going to get going on building a root cellar over here. And that will really help out the situation over here, because I can put a washer and dryer in there. It can also double down as a place for another person or two to sleep. It can house all the utilities. It can stay warm in the wintertime without having to worry about freezing batteries and stuff like that. It should, for the most part, not need any heat at all, and it'll stay above freezing. And on the top of it, it'll have a concrete roof, so I might mount some solar trackers. I got all kinds of ideas for here. We got tons and tons of projects to do here. So I guess that's it for this video, though. Really didn't get a whole lot of work done up here, but at least we had some fun, which I think it's long overdue. We spent a lot of time up here without having any fun, so it's nice to switch it up a little bit. But I think on the next video, we'll get right back to work, get some more things done. And I guess that's it for this video, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.